From the beautiful campus of Casper College, it's time to dive into the world of Casper College athletics with another episode of the Casper College Coaches Show. Now here's your host, Phil Kohler.
Welcome fans to the Casper College Coaches Show. I'm your host, Phil Kohler, joined as always by the head coach of the Lady Thunderbirds, Coach Dwight Ganeri. Coach, great weekend last weekend. Congratulations. Let me run through here a couple of accomplishments. 28-5 overall. Region 9 North champions for the 7th time in a row. Region 9 tournament champions for the 3rd year in a row. National qualifiers for either the 4th or 5th. We were kind of debating that back and forth. How does it feel? I mean, it's got to feel great.
Tremendous. I just can't say enough about just everybody that puts a lot into our program. Obviously, starting with our players. We began in August, and everything that we did, we talk about is for this time of year, and for them to put the work in to get in a position to win the Region 9 tournament and go to the national tournament. Pride is definitely a word that comes to mind. A sense of satisfaction because it was a great accomplishment. But yeah, very, very proud. It was so much fun winning it in front of our home fans last weekend. So just definitely still on cloud nine a little bit.
Well, I think pride is a great word. I saw, just sitting up in the stands, so much pride from the people in the community. 3 great crowds last weekend that came out to support you guys. Let's start with the quarterfinal first on Thursday. You guys beat McCook 82-65. Get off to a little bit of a slow start, but then Andy Schisler gets it going. She leads the way with 19 points. Give us a quick little rundown of what that game was.
I agree with your beginning here. It was like, we hadn't played in 12 days, 11 or 12 days, and you never know if that's a factor or not because Otero played the game before us, and they hadn't played 11 or 12 games, and they looked like world beaters.
Correct, yes.
So that definitely didn't translate for them. But, to sleep that night, that's what I went home with and said, no, that's not us. We were just a little rusty from the time off and stuff like that. But once we got going, and you're right, Andy sparked us offensively and got us going. Once we got that separation, we were in pretty good shape. So it was a good quarterfinal matchup for us. It did take us a while to get started, but we did advance.
Well, and survive and advance. That's the key in this time of year, right? So you guys move on to play an Otero team that you said the night before looked like world beaters, and they did. And they came in playing good basketball. They had won 15 of 16 games. But you guys come out and really dominate them from the beginning, 77-55 win. Irene leads the way with 15 points, but you had 4 other players in double figures.
Yeah, Irene had a great game. We had struggles on Friday night with individuals and with team play as not playing up to their potential or what they normally do. And we talked about that. Hey, that one's over. Kind of what you're saying. And I was so proud of Irene's game because she had family here. And Thursday night probably didn't go how she would have liked to. She got in foul trouble and just couldn't get going. She had a great game for us on Friday night. And the fact that we never trailed in that game against Otero, we led from the very beginning. I was pretty excited because they had my full attention. They can shoot it, and they were on fire.
And especially as well as they played on Thursday night. You got to be prepared for that. And then, Coach, moving into the championship game on Saturday, a great crowd out to watch you guys play. You guys are able to knock off NJC 81-69 in a game that just it lived up to every piece of the billing. I mean, you guys jump out on them early. Let's talk first half early. Lutza acts just incredible. And it was one of those things where it just felt like you guys were living right. She knocks down a couple of threes on some good bounces and give us a rundown.
Yeah, you're right on the living right. There was one of Lutza's threes. And trust me, that's 4 threes from Lutza is no fluke.
Very capable.
Girl can shoot
it.
Absolutely. You come to our shooting workouts and our pre-practice shooting, that girl can fill it up. So first of all, that's no fluke, and really to myself, no surprise. But there was one in particular I remember that she shot, and I just thought there was no chance in heck that's going in, and somehow it caught the front of the rim, hung there for a little bit, seemed like seconds, but just for a little bit of time, and fell in, and that's where you think, maybe tonight is our night, and stuff. But great spark from her, and then she also scored inside as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She was very, very good. You guys as a team shoot 12 of 23, but another key piece, Andy Schisler came out, and she scores 11 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. But the biggest thing to me was 3 offensive rebounds off of missed free throws. I mean, how great is that for you as a coach, and then also demoralizing for the other side?
What a spark for us, because First of all, I think after the McCook game, Andy started getting face guarded. She gets a little extra attention, and for her to have 11 points in those situations is good. But that just goes to show the type of player is she. She doesn't have to score 18, 19 points to have a huge impact on whether we win or lose. Those hustle plays on the free throws, I know if my memory serves, and that's questionable anymore, but if my memory serves, we scored on 2 of those. Yeah. And that was at the time period where we got some separation from NJC, and as I'm sure we'll talk about, they made runs at us, and that was pivotal in that part of the game, and just that extra effort is definitely Andy's game.
Well, and they do start making a run at you guys, kind of middle of the third quarter and even getting into the fourth quarter. They cut it down. You guys were up 12 at halftime. They cut it down to 4 at one point in the fourth quarter, and you guys came down. Andy hits a big 3, and then Logan Alvar, who finished the game 11 points and 8 rebounds, has this incredible shot that went up, and it was an air ball, I think, and she's underneath the basket, and she grabs it and throws up a reverse layup to put it back in to boost you guys up to 9, and from that point forward, it was pretty much over.
She had 2 of those type of plays, this one on Friday night and one on Saturday. She has some of the best hands and ability to finish in traffic that I've coached. There's some times where I'm like, how in the heck did you even catch that, leave alone finish it and stuff. And the 8 rebounds were critical for us as well. But handling those runs, it was really critical, because when you play the semifinals in your regional tournament, a great team like Otero's a great team, and you know they're going to make runs, and we knew NJC was going to make runs, and you just talk about and you hope that they keep their composure and understand that part is coming. Team did. Sure. Answered with big shots.
And it was great. Yeah.
That's what it takes to win. Is you got to handle adversity in those situations, because it's not if, it's when it comes.
Well, and I got to tell you too, this, and we didn't talk about this off the air, but there was a point where I finally realized that I need to leave the coaching to you, and it's not me. There's 1.8 seconds left in the third quarter. You guys have the length of the court to go, and I'm saying, okay, just inbound the basketball and let's go to the fourth quarter. You pitch it ahead to Irene. It almost gets stolen. And then she buries a half-court shot that they ended up canceling. They took it off the board because it was just a split second late. But I was sitting up there thinking, like, man, Dwight knows so much more than I do. I just need to keep my mouth shut.
We better just go backwards and say, in the likelihood of probability, the best thing would have been get that ball inbounds and not turn it over. So your thought process there was the right process, the probability of that going in. What a huge thing if that would have counted. We had 2 buzzer beaters. That got erased.
Yes, right.
Anna had what a great steal,
play defensively,
just with 2 seconds to go, and if that would have went in there. But no, don't question your coaching there, because the right play would have been get the ball inbounds. But you had a chance. You had a chance for a foul.
Absolutely.
But a turnover would have been more devastating than the likelihood of that shot going in.
But, Coach, and again, I'm going to give you all the credit in the world. I thought you did a phenomenal job Saturday, and I got a chance to tell you that. But another one of the big pieces, Saturday, February 10th, about a month and a half ago, you and I are sitting here just after the Western Wyoming game. You had gotten an opportunity to put in a bunch of your subs and gotten to play some kids that didn't normally play. And I remember distinctly us having a conversation about the importance and how those players could potentially be a huge piece moving forward. So, San Francisco. Through January, averaging 8 minutes a game. Saturday night in the championship, she goes and plays 26 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. She plays the entire fourth quarter. What a huge piece to that game.
Huge. It has to happen every year. You start out with your depth chart, and then you have the role players, but you're going to need some of those role players to establish into higher roles. Cy took that opportunity. We could start seeing progress in December, early January, and when you get to the point in November, your depth chart is penciled in a little bit based on everything you've seen. And then where the kids really got to start getting separation is they got to win in practice, because they're not getting the minutes in a game just because of where the depth chart is. Cy started to do that, and then when her minutes started to increase in the game, she started capitalizing. I think Cy gives us a very calming effect, and there's times when our pace is tremendous for us, and it's what our identity is a little bit, but there's times where our pace hurts us. And Cy has a pretty good blend of getting our tempo being upward, but also gives us a calming force. I think one of the areas where she's really improved is the turnover situation early in the year, and she's really come a long ways in that area, and that's why she's in the games now. She's got a great role going forward into this national tournament.
Yeah, and I think that, Coach, most head coaches have that comfort level with their top 5, maybe top 6 players. What's going through your mind in the fourth quarter when you know that you've got 1 or 2 kids that have played huge minutes for you and are probably a part of that comfort zone, but Saya's playing so well that you can't take her off the floor?
It's a little bit of feel, you know, and there's times where I've had starters on the bench for longer periods of times because we're on a little bit of a run.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, God, I got a really great player over here. We need to get her in, but why disrupt what's happening there? And that was kind of the situation in Saturday night's championship game. Was things were going, our tempo was the way I liked it. We were taking care of the basketball, and not just to focus on Sai, but I think Sai is doing a nice job defensively.
Sure.
And that was critical at that time too, because they have some scores, and JC has some scores and stuff. So, a lot of times you got to go, analytics are analytics, and they're very valuable, but you got to go feel and what's happening at the time, and that was kind of the situation.
Well, and you've been doing it for a long time at a very high level, and so that feel, I think a lot of people would probably trust you on that one. So
yeah, well, it fails you once in a while, trust me. It's a game of percentages.
Yeah. So, Coach, let's look ahead now with the big one. You guys win the Region 9 tournament. You guys get invited to the national tournament, which, again, the city of Casper lucky enough to host. Yeah. You guys will get an opportunity to take on Blinn Community College out of Region 14. They come in 24-9 overall. That game will be next Wednesday, 10 a.m. from the Ford Wyoming Center. We're going to hopefully throw the graphic up there of the national tournament, what it looks like. You can see Casper over there on that right side. So, Coach, what have you seen so far from Blinn?
Good. First of all, they're Region 14 champs. That region is there's probably 3 or 4 regions year in, year out are going to be penciled in to be one of the strongest contenders at the national tournament. Sure. And you're talking your Florida region, you're talking a couple of the Texas region. Kansas trends up and stuff in that area as well. But they definitely come for a strong region. They beat Trinity Valley twice this year, once in the championship. Yep. Trinity Valley's probably got more national championships than anybody in NJCA on the women's basketball side. Very good program. And I believe they lost to Northwest Florida in the championship last year, national championship game last year. So definitely you can look at their 9 losses, but you got to understand who they're playing and what type of conference. Very, very good, quick, athletic team. They're going to attack the basket, but they can shoot it well enough too. You're going to have to respect the 3-point line. Our core fundamentals are going to have to carry us in this one.
Yeah. Well, and they rebounded at a very high level. Not only are they athletic, but they're big too. 4th in the country in total rebounds, 18 assists per game, 10th in the country in assists. They move the basketball well. And I mean, Coach, you're playing in a national tournament, right? Yeah. You're going to expect it. You're going to play a real good basketball team.
I will back up a little bit there. That's one of the things about Casper hosting. We have basketball, we have athletic fans, we have activity fans in this community. Sure. There is an opportunity here. The nation's best at the 2-year level is here, and there's some impressive basketball players. There are going to be a ton of Division I basketball players here. So encourage our basic basketball fans to go out and would love to pack it for our game, obviously, but take in the talent that is coming here to town. The rebounding component is huge. I think Mathis has 114 offensive rebounds, and Johnson, another forward post, has 97 offensive rebounds. Between the two of them, that's over 200 offensive rebounds. We've got to be our fundamentals are what's going to have to carry us. We have got to block out, and we're still going to give up offensive rebounds.
Absolutely. Well, and to that point, Coach, and then if you defeat them, you get a chance on Thursday night to play the defending national champions from Northwest Florida. I know you're not looking ahead there, but I mean, you talk about how many great teams are in this tournament. Talk about, too, how many great players. You look at a lot of these kids, especially the higher-end kids, are going to be going and playing at not just mid-major D1s. They're going to be playing at high-major Division I schools next year.
Absolutely. You're going to be watching them on TV at this time of year, and it won't be on ESPN Plus. It'll be, on your NCAA tournaments.
Absolutely.
They're very, very good. Northwest Florida have done some pre-scouting on them. Just there's no weakness. Yeah. They're a defending national champion for a reason. Please bring it on. I want that opportunity. Absolutely. It would be, will we have our hands full? Are we going to be the favorite? No, we're not going to be the favorite. But, geez, give us that opportunity. It'd be a lot of fun.
Well, and so let's look back towards last year. You guys make the NCAA or the NJCAA tournament. You guys lose in that first game. Blinn also made the tournament. They had a first-round bye. They won that game and moved into the quarterfinals. But this Blinn team is very different. They only have 2 sophomores returning from last year. Those 2 are starters and play pretty significant minutes. But with you only having 3 players that played in that tournament last year, is there any sort of an advantage from having played in the tournament with experience?
You only, by this time of year in JUCO basketball, you're freshmen or sophomores. They've been through the regional tournament, Region 14 tournament. They've been in high stress situations, those kind of things. You hope maybe there's an advantage with us not traveling and them traveling, and there's some things. And you never know how teams are going to open up a tournament. It can be in a region tournament and stuff like that. The first game is not always the team's best games and stuff like that. But, I believe there is some advantages of knowing what a national tournament's all about. The schedule is irregular. And, Coach Macy and I were just talking this morning, with media timeouts, they're now 2.5 minutes for a media timeout. Sure. And my goodness, I can't talk for 15 seconds. So, I don't know what we're going to have to do at that time. But there is, the uniqueness of the national tournament, so that experience can be helpful. But, I don't, if we had 7 players back, I wouldn't put a lot of weight in it. If we only have 3 this year like we do, I don't put much stock in that either.
Well, and tell me if I'm wrong too, but I remember Sean Gutting telling me about how, halftime is 10 minutes, it's not 15 anymore. And then the time between games, they kind of shorten up as well. So you're kind of jumping on the floor, you're warming up quick, and then you're going out and playing.
Yeah, and I'll have to double check on that. I thought we had a full 15
Maybe
minutes.
It is.
But to be honest, if it's not, that's okay. We've had conversation with it. I would love for us to reduce our halftime to 12. It's just it could shorten it up.
Yeah.
I guess 15 minutes is good for our concession stand.
There you go.
So there's a perk, but I would like to see it shortened up. But so if it is, that would be fine.
Sure.
Yep.
So then again, looking back towards this last year, you talked about how they had an opportunity. They played against 2 different teams that are in the tournament. Blinn has. Blinn 2-1 against Trinity Valley, again winning that championship, and then 0-2 against Collins. So they're 2-3 against tournament teams. You guys so far this season 1-0 against tournament teams, and your win against MJC or New Mexico Junior College. That's a 100% win percentage, Coach. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt there in that stat.
If that gives us a little extra odds in Vegas, that's pretty good. I think there's a couple things coming from that. What you mentioned there is A, they have 4 or 5 games against real top talent.
Yeah, sure.
We have 1. B is, and we talked about it right after that win in December, we got to keep this in our memory bank because this is a top team in the country, and we can beat them if we play at our best. So getting that win against New Mexico probably maybe changed our seeding a little bit because it was a high-quality win. But more importantly, I hope it gives our kids confidence that, Blinn, they're extremely good.
Yeah.
But you know what? So are we if we play to our potential.
Well, and Coach, we had an opportunity to talk about the great teams and the great players that are here, but there's going to be a lot of great coaches here as well. Yeah. Coach Jenkins from Blinn College, Bennett Blinn for 22 years, has over 500 career wins, and as a guy, again, that's sitting on the outside, I'm going to be watching these 2 coaches Wednesday morning with a combined 1,000 college wins. I mean, what a great opportunity for fans to come out and see not just how basketball is played at the highest level, but also how it's coached at the highest level.
Wow, thank you. And I appreciate you saying combined wins and not combined age. Because sometimes those 2 categories equal each mirror each other and stuff like that. So thanks for putting the wins there. I have not personally met Coach Jenkins, but I have the highest respect for just anybody that can get their team to the national tournament and perform at the high level, and for doing it as often.
Regular basis.
Trust me. Every single win in a coach's resume, there are a lot of hours for that one win. Sure. And so for him to stack up 500 plus, I know what the effort that he's put in there, and not just him, but his supporting staff and his players and stuff like that. So that is a very impressive number because I understand what goes into a single win, leave alone that many.
Well, and I'll speak, too, to the fact that he's been there 22 years. You've been here at Casper for a long time, and a lot of people see JUCO as a stepping stone, especially players do, but coaches do as well. And for 2 guys to have done it not just at such a high level, but at the same place for such a long time, I think speaks volumes to the type of people that you both are. And I know, for one, I'm certainly excited to watch this matchup on Wednesday.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Last question for you. You guys playing in Casper, you're not playing on your home gym, but do you feel like there's going to be a little bit of home court advantage, at least if for nothing else, you guys sleeping in your own bed at night?
Yeah, I think there are some definite advantages to it, because we'd probably be getting on the road as early as Saturday and not playing till Wednesday, because you have to be there for the meetings.
Yeah.
You have to be there for your 1.5 hour shoot around that you're allowed. So there's a lot of hotel time, a lot of bus time, and those kind of things. So that's an advantage. You know, I'm really hoping it's kind of unfortunate, but it's nobody's fault. That's how seating dictates when you play and stuff like that. You know, playing at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, from a team standpoint, we're gonna do our best to turn that into our favor.
Absolutely.
You know, but from a crowd perspective, there's going to be a lot of people that have to work, unfortunately, and stuff
Sure.
like that. So it might affect it. But yeah, there's definitely an advantage. I think there's an advantage for our fans, and I know we've mentioned it a lot, but man, I just get joy out of watching how many people support the Lady T-Birds,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
those kind of things. That darn gym was
cool.
full, and there were a lot of positive comments. So really excited that our fans get to see some more basketball and stuff. So I couldn't be happier.
Sure. Yep, and I know a lot of people are excited to be up there Wednesday morning, 10 a.m., Ford Wyoming Center. You can get tickets online from the Ford Wyoming Center website or Ticketmaster. Games are also going to be streamed on ESPN Plus if you can't make it up here to watch the game. Coach, final question for you. NCAA tournament starts this week.
Yep.
On the ladies' side, pick a champion for us. And we're going to come back, and we're going to actually make sure that we save this. And here in about a month, we're going to come back and see how you did.
Okay, I'm going to stay with South Carolina. I know that's the common one.
Yeah.
I definitely want Iowa to go deep, and I'd love for them to win it.
Sure.
And it's just been so good for women's basketball, and it's not Caitlin Clark isn't women's basketball, but it brings everybody's eyes to the quality of all teams.
And there's so many good teams and players out there right now.
So many.
Yeah.
It just really brings value or validity to the women's game and how far it's come along. So, you know, I just think South Carolina is extremely well coached. Don Staley does a great job. I love how she handles adversity, and everybody's got a target on her back, you know, because of that. So, you know, I just give her the nod, and she's got a great team. So I'll have to go with South Carolina.
I like it. Fans, remember to make sure you're out there Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. to come and support this team one more time, hopefully another time again on Thursday. But make sure that you're out there. They can use all the support that they can get. Coach, best of luck to you this week. We're certainly excited to watch.
As always, Phil, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Fans, remember to always shoot for the stars, because even if you miss, there's always a chance for an offensive rebound. Thanks for joining us.